Erica, Miss Erica, you are making way too many mistakes way too early on. See, it's situations like this where someone in politics, someone who is attempting to manipulate the public's perception and control them mentally, this is where you have to find someone like myself to hire to manage you because I can tell you how things are going to look. You can tell right now they're pivoting on the dime. See, this isn't Erica's forte. Erica's a honeypot. Her specialty is up close and personal, intimate settings with men who are targets. Her job, her specialty is not public speaking. It is not talking to the press. It is not conveying emotion, obviously. And it's not going up against a behemoth, the likes of Candace Owens. So these mistakes means that they had to pivot last minute and put Erika in roles that she wasn't designed for. Erika, according to our records, used to be in a relationship with Tyre Boyler before she was in a relationship with Charlie Kirk. She met Charlie through Tyler. Long ago, they had orphans in Romania. Her and Tyler. Her role was behind the scenes. She dealt with the general. She dealt with the military. Because of her looks, she could get things passed. Her job is not to go out and speak in public. They typically use less attractive, older, heavier women for those roles. That is not Erika. By them having to reposition her means that Candace has been more than just a little bit effective in changing their plans and their agenda. See, when I try to explain to people where women are going wrong in today's world, a lot of men no longer want to have kids with them in the United States. Men are not marrying these women. It's not because we don't know enough. It's because we know too much. They made a huge miscalculation, a huge oversight, because now they're giving us too much Erika. See, when she was just known as the grieving widow that put her hands on top of those fake hands that were too small to be Charlie's, everything went exit stage left, everything went black, the curtain went down, end of the scene. Now it's up to the public to just decide what we're going to think. But you had no choice but to be sympathetic for her. But now we know too much. Like I said, the worst thing that could have happened to women is social media. See, before a man would meet you, he wouldn't know your history. He would just know how you look because we're shallow. And we would get you pregnant and have kids with you and find out about your history later and be destroyed internal because we would know too much. Now we can just get on Facebook and go back 7 years on your timeline and look at your ex-boyfriends, your abortions. We know too much. And now we don't trust you. And now we want to pull out. We don't want to deal with you no more. But when you're going against a woman like Erika, where not only does she have a questionable past, but now even her present is extra questionable versus a woman like Candace Owens, who we've seen build Turning Point with Charlie Kirk, and we've known all the intimate details of her life. Well, versus Candace, Erika doesn't stand a snowball's chance in the mouth of the dragon from Game of Thrones. She's out of there. So Candace is going to address what Erika Kirk said. Candace and I had some of the same, we discerned and pulled out of what she's saying, some of the same things. So we're going to use Candace's clips of what Erika is saying, and then I'm going to go over where she's messing up bigly. And why? Because they're having to make too many last minute changes. Soon, not soon before long, this whole TPA2 thing is going to blow. They're not going to be able to keep a cap on this. There are too many leaks now because Candace Owens, the pressure that she's putting on the bolts and screws of this bullshit boat, she's going to blow them all. So let's take a listen to what Candace is saying. So you're telling me you want to make a private mausoleum dedicated to Charlie? You want to make a grand, massive, yet private memorial to Charlie Kirk? Is it a museum for the blind? You want people to put on blindfolds and walk through there? Explain how you're going to have something private yet public at the same time. See, this is my issue when I hang on every word out of someone's mouth, because you can see that, well, they're double minded. You cannot trust a person that's speaking in two different directions. Their conversation must be uniform, they must be consistent, and they cannot be nonsensical. Again, Erika is not good at this. Erika's good at looking pretty and convincing men that she loves them, convincing men that they can trust her. That's why they rescued Erika from going to jail in Romania. And instead of sending her back to her rich parents in the Hamptons, they magically threw her to be an intern at some obscure small political action committee for students called Turning Point USA back in the early days of 2018. Why was she even there? She was in Romania. She's a pageant model. She lives in the Hamptons with her parents. She's traveling all over the world. How did she all of a sudden show up in Arizona to be an intern under some no-name person named Charlie Kirk? Don't get me wrong. If you were in college, you knew Charlie and Candace. They were going around to these universities. Did we know that there was an entire business and organization around two people going to all these campuses? No, it didn't seem like a very complex organization because it's all built on one man, Charlie Kirk. But it was also built on two people at the time, which was Charlie and Candace. They were becoming too close. And it would be hard to control a woman like Candace with someone like Charlie. It appears that they put Erika there to separate the two. And Erika essentially became Charlie's handler. You never knew her name. You never really seen her, but she was behind the scenes. She knew everything. Now they thrusted her into the spotlight and told her she's a CEO. How can a woman who's never been involved in anything be the CEO of something she doesn't understand? It doesn't make sense. There is no turning point anymore. This is a money pot. They're trying to figure out how to liquidate the funds and disperse them. But now you have Turning Point Faith and all these different people pretending that they were elevated and that they actually should get a bigger piece of the pie. Erika, for the most part, has been out of the infighting because she's been reassigned. See, the goal is for Erika to eventually be the next First Lady of the United States of America. She is supposed to be Erika Kirk Vance. Her putting herself on camera this much, whoever's behind her telling her to go do all these interviews, this is fucking destroying the eventual agenda for her to become the next First Lady. We cannot know this much about the next first lady. We can't know about her history. It cannot be this checkered. And now Candace putting the spotlight on this woman, people are going to dissect her and they're going to find out. When they find out what happened to those orphans, it's going to be a problem. Why do you think her security team, who magically still works for her, even though they're the ones who her husband was killed under their watch, that kind of means you get a new team. That's like me being in an Uber. The Uber gets in a car accident. And it's the Uber driver's fault because he's been drinking. And then all of a sudden, Uber pulls up and says, hey, we got another car for you. Use the same driver. Get in. How about no? How about I might start using Lyft at that point? But she's still with those guys because those guys didn't fail. They were successful in their mission. So they're still employed. They're still around her. All this is happening right now in real time. And they are scrambling. This is not going to last much longer. And now the whole Erika Kirk Vance, First Lady, JD Vance, that whole agenda might be burning up as we speak. And the timeline might be changing because we're starting to learn too much about Erika. And we know that she's a liar. We know this has nothing to do with emotions. This is all acting. This is all scripted. And if Charlie eventually found out about her checkered past, that could have been another motivation to speed up this timeline to move him out of the way. Again, it was amateur hour for the most part. There were too many stones left unturned. There were too many things that were not done properly. And now there's too many questions. Again, unfortunately, we're starting to learn too much about Erika Kirk. We're seeing her too much. These women, for these big positions, these assets are supposed to be behind the scenes. Them putting her in the forefront means they're nervous and they made a really big mistake. You building a shrine to Charlie Kirk for the public is not your one thing. That doesn't make any sense. And you sound delusional and you sound like you're going off script. But again, this is not her forte. She's not a leader. She's not a public speaker. She's a looker. She's a honeypot. She's an asset. And now them putting her in these different roles, they're going to eventually pay the price for it. If you don't know who Meghan Markle is because you've been living under a rock in Australia somewhere, she married Prince Harry of the United Kingdom, Diana's redhead son, who was probably not biologically the son of the king. And she was a attention whore. She used to be on a soap opera here in the United States. I believe it was called Mad Men, something like that. Yeah, and she's a looker. She was good looking, but she was bad at speaking to people. She rubbed everyone the wrong way, and she had a terrible demeanor about herself. So when the royal family wanted to oust them, and then Harry decided he didn't want to be a part of the royal life after they were already being pushed out, Meghan Markle, who had been begging for attention from every platform and every outlet for years, all of a sudden is asking for privacy. No, sister. We were with you on your way up, and we're going to be with you as you crash and burn. So that's what Candace is saying. a horrible, horrible miss fucking calculation. But, and I've been discussing it, but now everyone is going to see what Candace just strategically did. Erika Kirk is 5'3". Charlie Kirk is 6'5". We've seen their wedding pictures. Charlie Kirk's hands are maybe 3 times the size of his wife. Now, unless you're trying to convince me that maybe men that have spines made out of the same material that they made Wolverine's bones out of, the adamantium that can stop a 3-6 bullet, maybe humans with spines like that, when they pass away, their hands shrink and their skin turns into plastic. Now, if that's not the case, then Erika Kirk has a stranger who we have no idea filming her with a plastic body. And this is a scene from the Erika Kirk Truman Show. This is fake. All of this is fake. Look at her hands. Her hands and the mannequin's hands are comparable in size. And I don't care what kind of bronzer you use, Charlie Kirk's fingernails would not look like that next to his skin. Charlie Kirk was not half man, half carrot. This is not tanner. This is not bronzer. This is not what happens when you're post-mortem 6 days. She strategically had somebody film her on top of his dead body, but they should have told her to keep her fucking hands to herself, because people will eventually notice that your hands and his hands are comparable in size, meaning those are not his hands. Those hands are fake. Come back to this video, look closely, share this with your friends, like the video, subscribe, The Single Boyfriend on YouTube. Show everybody. Tell them that I'm co-signing this. Candace is purposely showing this video for a reason. She wants the public to discern this and figure it out for themselves. That's not Charlie Kirk's dead body. She is crying over a plastic human. And because because they're assuming people would be so afraid to call it out or say something that nobody will, but everybody would just think it. You know, I remember that's actually how church people act. I grew up in the church. Nobody wants to say anything, keep everything closed. That's why there's so many secrets. Unfortunately, we don't live like that anymore. Those days are over. Hiding things in the closet, sweeping them under the rug. It got us nowhere in the past. Actually, it's what got us here. And we want things to be different going forward. So we're going to do things different. We're going to ask questions. We're going to call everything out. This woman is crying over a mannequin. That's not Charlie Kirk's body. Those are not his dead, cold hands. Your skin does not turn to orange plastic if you are Caucasian post-mortem. Now you know why Candace did this. She's good. Those tiny fucking hands are not the hands of 6'5" Charlie Kirk. Those are not his hands. And when you look at her hands, her hands are either the same size or they could be bigger than his hands all of a sudden. A man's hands don't shrink. I wonder how many takes it took for them to get this down. I would guess 4. I would guess you probably started laughing the first one, more serious the second one. The third one was perfect, but then the camera guy said, "Give us one more, Erika." This was shot number 4. This is all a game. This is a money scam. This is a hustle. None of this is real. Like Candace says, everything is very fake and very gay. And she's absolutely correct. even to believe in this bullshit that men's hands shrink and her hands and his hands are going to be different colors, different complexions, but the same side because he died. Do you know how gay you have to be or just mentally inept to believe that? Another term that we would frequently use for somebody who thinks this makes sense would be a mental midget. Shout out to Jimmy Dore. I would hope that the people that follow me, share my videos, watch my content, I would hope that you are better than that. And that's why you're here with me. New channel, but I know what I'm talking about. And that means you have good taste. I thank you for being here. But you and I both know better. And she's defending the same employees, including the security team, that a lapse in poor judgment or a lapse in just really, really bad luck happened to allegedly be a windfall of good luck in favor of Tyler Robinson, who was not caught leaving the scene. He wasn't seen by anybody. Nobody saw him on the roof. All these failures worked in favor of Tyler Robinson, but were just magically ended up being just really bad luck for Charlie, because if one failure hadn't have happened, he would still be alive. That's what you're telling me? I just have just something telling me Charlie just didn't have a bad day. There's definitely something else going on. So let me get this straight. She's in her spare time while they're doing her highlights in the chair at the beauty salon. She's reading the Bible and reading the chapter of Nehemiah. I don't buy it at fucking all. Also, Erika, this is another big place where you screwed up. See, it's 2025. We've seen the most heinous and evil acts done by people who used religion as a shield, as a cover, so that nobody would question them and they could get away with murder. Erika, thinking that you can use the Bible now to throw us off the trail or to shame us into stopping is also a miscalculation and poor judgment. We've seen what people do with religion. They pervert it and they use it to commit the most evil acts onto others. This was a poor choice, whoever told her to say this. This was not organic. This was not something that was just weighing on her mind. This isn't how even women talk. And this is from somebody who studies women, and I do videos and talk about people all day, every single day. Go watch my content. We know when people are starting using religion to cover up their tracks, we know they're wrong. This is not even a good analogy. This isn't even a good comparison. Religion has been used to cover up the most evil acts that we can even imagine in our own modern history. Isn't the Talmud, isn't Judaism a religion? What have we seen them doing in the Gaza Strip? That's another example right there. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to end the video right after this. Her bringing this bullshit verse as a quote at this time to tell people not to investigate the men that failed her. How are you a security team, but your client is killed, but you still have a job? So you want us to look past that because you bring up an obscure Bible quote? Lady, if you weren't so cute, I'd tell you to go to hell. It's complicit. It's not complacent. You're destroying the English language right now, miss. So if you don't know the difference between complicit and complacent, then I doubt that you're studying the good book to the point where you're able to you see Nehemiah's story right now. I doubt that heavily. Why would you be looking for leads if they already captured the killer? I mean, because you guys already said you're not looking into any other stories, you're not accepting any other evidence. If people send you stuff and it contradicts the FBI's official story, you won't even look at it. So her team is saying one thing, but here she is on Fox News saying that they're still taking tips. Why would you still be taking tips if you forgave the killer? Oddly enough, she's angrier with Candace Owens than she is with the man that she alleges killed her husband, Tyler Robinson. I remember when she was like, oh, and I forgive you. So you forgive the fucker who you said took a shot at CK, but you have all the fucking smoke in the world for CK's probably best and only friend who wants to find out what happened to him. You have all the resentment in the world and all the anger for Candace, but you have zero for Tyler. It sounds like your moral compass is actually calibrated correctly. And the reason you have no ill will or ill emotions towards Tyler is because you know Tyler had nothing to do with it. But you hate Candace because, well, if this goes bad, then they might feed you to the wolves about the Romanian angels. And then there goes your perfect little legacy. Might even smear the name of your parents who worked on the Iron Dome. If all those secrets come out, I don't even know if, I mean, is it outside the statute of limitations? It depends. It depends on the country. Romania, I don't know what the laws are. They said she had 71 children with Tyler Boyer, and that's who those were their angels, they're their orphans. Those children got to be grown now. Where are they? Or are they all buried somewhere? I guess we'll find out because now everyone's looking into everything. Everyone's asking questions. There's not enough verses in the whole Bible. You can put the Talmud, Bible, and the Quran together. There's not enough verses that are going to be able to shield you and cover you from this, Erika. You might want to plan your escape and exit stage left to another nation. You might want to start looking into plane tickets. But you have time to do this media circuit. You have time for everything else, but you don't have time to sit down with the woman that loved your husband more than probably life itself, you're trash. And I can confidently say that. I've literally sat here and explained how. I didn't just get on here and say, Erika Kirk this. No, no, no. I've literally been explaining in videos for months, talking about her evolution. Remember, this is a show. This is the Erika Kirk Truman show. And now that they're attempting to recast Charlie using JD Vance, it will be the Erika Kirk Vance Truman show. But they're slipping now. We might not even make it that far. And that's the beauty of social media. You know, I remember, you know how many agendas and plans they had until Alex Jones talked about it publicly on the platform? Now they can't do it because if it actually happens the way Alex Jones said it was going to happen, they're going to see him as a prophet. They're going to say, how the hell did this guy figure out the future? Matter of fact, remember when Alex Jones said the Russians would invade Ukraine on February 22nd? He said it the year before, and then the next year when they invaded on February 22nd, everyone looked at him differently. Yeah, that's how it's going to be when it comes to this situation, because there are those of us who called it ahead of time. We're not idiots. You know, it's I don't know, it's force. I thought everybody had foresight. Apparently we all don't. I do. I'm seeing where things are going because I want to get there first. This was an extremely strange and poor miscalculation on the part of the handlers of this Erika Kirk. Because remember, she's just an actress and she's following the directions of the director and the crew. This isn't up to her. She did her job, but at the end of it, I think they're going to burn her at the stake. I think they are going to leave her out to dry when the going gets a little too tough. Because she's going to outlive her usefulness. You got to think about it. Her and Charlie weren't close. Charlie, out of 365 days a year, Charlie was on the road 300. And then he has a Charlie Kirk show that he's doing during the week. Then he has to deal with donors and people who give him money and a staff. This woman probably hardly knew him, hardly saw him, didn't give two shits about him. She used to be involved with Tyler, who is now the CEO. Actually, he has the longest tenure with Turning Point USA. Tyler, and so their relationship, I'm sure Charlie eventually had questions about. They had a good cover story at first, but the sun doesn't shine forever. Eventually, a man as intelligent as Charlie was going to put two and two together. And I think he did, and that's when they were like, well, I guess it's time to replace Truman. Turning Point USA was not your family. You didn't work there. You didn't live there. They're not your family. Erika, as a woman who doesn't pay bills, why are you purse watching Candace Owens? Why do you care how much money she's making? Wouldn't you be more concerned about addressing the content of her message? Why would you be worried or even try to make yourself familiar with how much money is being generated from it? See, when people start to, when the mask starts to slip on some of these people, you start to notice they have green eyes. It's the green eye. It's the money. It's the greed. It's the lust for finance. That's what most people's motivation is. Does it seem like Candace is splurging all the money that's coming in? Does she seem like she's super excited about it? Or does she seem like she's just on a mission? Money isn't everything to everybody. And I've never seen Candace as a person even remotely concerned about it. I've never seen her conversation or what she's saying ever adjust or change based on financial incentives. I've seen Brandon Tatum change based on financial incentives. I've seen fucking Beanie Man Tim Pool conversation change based on financial incentives. I've seen Candace Owens stay consistent all these years. Erika Kirk should not be worried about how much money's coming in to Candace. That's a talking point that someone asked her to bring up. She should have stayed focused on the emotional aspects, the content of what Candace is saying, and made it seem like she's a victim. She's literally destroying her own victimhood angle. And what a weird place for you to show up. If Charlie loved this guy so much and was close to him, Candace would have known him. Candace knows every single person that was in Charlie Kirk's life. Candace had been there from the beginning. Even though her and Charlie both married other people came and got between them. They both got married. Candace was on tour with Charlie as recent as last year. So she doesn't know this dude, Sergio, who became the ambassador to India. But here goes Erika showing up, flowing blonde hair, talking about how much he loves you. He's going to be with you in spirit for a fucking ambassador. For a fucking ambassador, not for like some, it is. And I've heard her talk like that to church people, to all. She's only good for certain things. She's not that type of actress. Her range is limited. She's no Al Pacino or De Niro. She's very limited range. You're not going to see her really do good in other roles. Now she's trying to be serious Erika. Her specialty is sexy Erika, obsessed Erika. Her job is to get men to think that she's in love with them. But unfortunately, women are going to see through you. Men are going to fall for it and think, man, maybe we just got lucky. Maybe that's why she likes us. But women are going to say, this is fake. This is fraudulent. It's not just Candace. There's women all over the world who are looking through this and looking at this and saying, this is fake. The same way they can look at Brigitte Macron and say, that's not a woman. They can see that that's a man. Women are also seeing through Erika Kirk. Men, I'm noticing, are saying maybe we should give her the benefit of the doubt because we all like the little blonde hair, white chick with blue eyes. We all white. I'm in Arizona right now. We like what we like. But men become blinded by beauty. Women are going to see this and say, you know what? It's not adding up. It's not authentic. It's not genuine. And, unfortunately, we need a woman to correct us and to make us aware of what's happening. Look, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload this video. I got to go through the comments. I'm going to try to respond to everybody as fast as I can. Ooh, hold on 1 second. Hello? Yeah. Let me, I'm going to check on all the audio and I'll be back shortly. Remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.